Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing a lot of different gaming topics. The daily grind, and we're going to be talking about different news topics that we haven't covered because we've been playing some MLB The Show on Xbox at Game Pass. If you guys missed that, you can go watch the past broadcasts of the live streams, or you can wait for the individual episodes to come out for Jack Burton and whatever the character that we've done throughout the entire season. We did a 1 year of AA, AAA. We did 1 year of MLB. We got to the World Series. Go check out that series. Really good series against the Yankees last night. We had one series went to 20 innings. It was actually a lot of fun, so go check that out. All right, on today's show, we're going to talk about Wizards of the Coast. We're going to talk about Microsoft is reportedly not pleased with the current state of Xbox. We're going to talk about Minecraft Legends sold. This is only in UK numbers. We're going to talk about what it sold on the Switch. We're going to say what it sold on PlayStation and what it sold on Xbox, and my concerns of and exactly what it's turned out to be. Not to say it's a bad thing. It's a different metric, but we're going to talk about it anyway. We're going to talk about Division 2. Explains why the next gen version of the game is unlikely to happen, and I'm okay with that. We're going to talk about, after 8 years of development, Dead Island 2 sells 1 million copies, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about court rulings in favor of Apple in Fortnite lawsuit. We're going to talk about a mod that's coming out or it is out for Battlefront 2 on PC. We're going to go watch a video of Diablo, the character, Your Class, Your Way. And we're also going to watch Redfall, the final preview on the IGN first. So that's all on today, this morning, for the Daily Grind. So grab your coffee, as I have, and let's start talking about gaming news. What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Jesse Mack? What's going on, Quintar? Yeah, that's impressive, Travis. 1 million in just 3 days. That's 9 million behind Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch. So think about that. So Dead Island's on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. In 3 days, it sold 1 million copies. And Pokemon on just the Nintendo Switch sold 10 million copies in 3 days. So I guess it all depends on what you're looking at. Also, Dead Island 1 sold 5 million copies. 5 million copies in the 2 years that it was out by 2013. It came out in 2011, 2013. So let me check what Dead Island 1 sold. Let me see if they still keep track of it. Dead Island sales in first week. Let's see if they have it. So that's Dead Island 2. Do they have the Dead Island 1 numbers? How many copies did Dead Island 1 sell? Sold 5 million in 2 years, but how much did it sell in the first year? Do they tell you? It doesn't tell you. Basically, the reason I'm bringing it up is because I want to know if Dead Island 1 sold really good in the first week or first month, then we have something to compare to with Dead Island 2. If it's on par with Dead Island 1, if it's better than Dead Island 1, we don't know. I'm a numbers guy. I love numbers, and I'm always upset that the video game industry always hides the numbers, right? They don't want to tell you, because if they tell you, then it shows, because numbers don't lie, right? Numbers don't lie. Numbers tell you the truth no matter what you believe. They tell you if something's good or bad, and you can compare it to other things, and that tells you a metric. And they don't want you to figure out that metric because it's very easy to figure out that metric. 1 million copies in just 3 days. Pokemon is a well-established brand. Dead Island isn't. Nope, that's not the point, though. Not the point. Saying that 1 million copies in 3 days is impressive. I was just giving you an example of 3 days, 10 million copies is impressive. 1 million is, congratulations. Dead Island 2 is Epic-only PC and mostly hurt sales. Well, I also think I've watched a lot of people play. And well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about that as the first topic. right? I played Dead Island 2 on Friday night, and then I played an additional 3.5 hours on the weekend playing Dead Island 2. And I enjoyed my time with it, but as I start breaking it down, it's just a mediocre game. Now, it is getting higher than mid-tier scores. Some people are giving it low scores, but majority of the people are giving it like a 7, 7.5 type of stuff. And it is entertaining. It's literally brain dead content, and I'm not meaning that in any kind of bad way or shape or form. I'm just saying it's kind of a game that you can watch, put a Netflix movie in the background, watch the news, listen to a podcast as you're slaughtering zombies, type of brain dead game. You don't have to really have to focus on what Dead Island 2 is offering. A lot of people that are playing it, they're playing the game, but see, I played the game in a kind of different way, and I exposed what the major problem is with Dead Island. Now, it's easy to say that you don't have to play that way, but the fact that it's in the game and you can play that way, it's a broken game. And the broken part of that game is anytime I stand on a box, a crate, a car, a wall, it doesn't matter what it is, the AI are absolutely point attended. They're brain dead. They're zombies, but they're actually brain dead. And a lot of people that are watching the people play these games and see it, they don't see what I saw, right? They're playing it because they either got paid to show it, they got advertised, they got a free code, and they don't want to burn the bridges or whatever. So they just play it and go, oh, it's awesome, it's so much fun, and yada yada. And I'm like, yeah, it's fun, but at the same time, I can beat a boss by standing on a crate. Okay. I mean, so much so. I mean, let's just go to my channel real fast, and let's look it over, right? Let's go to the live stream that we did, and let's click it. It should be right about, let me see, right about here. I have a couple of examples of this actually. This is going towards the thing. Okay, so here's one, right? We were dying, and then I got up on top of the partition, and then the horde came out, and I just kept killing them, and they can't touch me. That's exhibit 1. Then we have exhibit 2. Stand on a wall and kill all the zombies coming towards me, and they can't touch you. Okay, let's go to exhibit 3. Okay, exhibit 3. Let's go to the boss fight. Okay, I'm getting prepared to fight the boss, but then instead of fighting the boss, I decide that I'm just going to stand up on top of the box, and here comes the boss fight. It's going to be a super hard boss fight. Arr, oh, can't touch me. Can't touch me. Oh, what a super hard boss fight. Yeah. Meanwhile, I watched Jack Frags, and I watched a whole bunch of other people play this boss fight, and they're like running around, and I'm like, it looks a lot of fun. And yet, here it is. This is the breakdown of it, right? Now, regardless if they patch this or not, this is day 1 on the system that you can beat the boss, and I did it to another boss as well after this, right? So it's just get up high. They kind of just go broke and brain dead, and that's what you get. Okay, so that's the issue I have with a game like this. That now let's go back to the article. After 8 years in development hell, Dead Island 2 sells 1 million copies in the first week. Now, I don't know what it cost to make this game. She hit me 3 times. Oh, a whole 3 times, Travis. Oh, amazing. I literally stood there, and every other hit missed me. Maybe every third hit missed me. Okay. So, after 8 years of development, three studios. I'm sure this is higher than they wanted to budget wise, right? So Dead Island 2 finally released its nearly decade in development hell, 8 or 9 years, depending on when it started counting, and the launch of respected acclaims at the strong sales. According to the official Twitter, it sold 1 million copies in the first 4 days, even though it said 3 days. Hella, or Helle, sorry, Helle, welcomed over 1 million Slayers during the launch weekend in recent tweet reads. That's mind-blowing. Thanks for you. And the tweet was posted mid-afternoon on Monday, April 24th, 3.5 days after the game's Friday, April 21st release date. 1 million copies is pretty solid haul for 84 hours. Now, these aren't the biggest launch sales of the year. Last I checked, Hogwarts Legacy still wears the crown with 12 million copies in 2 weeks. But the fact that the Dead Island 2 has released at all, let alone generally likable state, is a miracle. Shipping a game is hard enough in the ideal circumstances, so games development cycle, this long and troubled, rarely stick into landing. It's nice, that little comeback story for the game, and it's also been the butt of countless jokes for the last few years. It's also quite take of a zombie slashing sequel ourselves, especially unbelievably detailed gore system. Now, that stuff is great. The story is decent. The graphics are really good. The gore factor is really cool. I think all that is great. The gameplay, though, itself is kind of lackluster, personally, on my opinion. As we said in our Dead Island review, the most part, though, is a robustly solid, polished game that, while it might not ever drop anything groundbreaking, maintains a consistent, enjoyable flow and nice touch and ideas. It gets pretty boring or pretty visually I would say around hour 6. You're like, okay, I'm doing the exact same thing. And I think the game's only I think you could beat it in 10 hours. So there you go. Dead Island has sold 1 million copies. Now, if it can keep this, I think what the problem is, more people are going to play this game, and there are a lot of bugs and glitches in this game. A lot of people are not reporting on it, but there's people that are falling through the map and flying up in the air, and zombies are not appearing in or not. I personally didn't get any kind of glitches or errors, but that's not to say there's not glitches and errors, just like any other game out there. But there are lots and lots of people complaining about the glitches and errors in this game. So we'll see what happens if they can consistently keep the 1 million, more copies up. I think the more the word gets out, I think this will get diminished. Now, obviously, the sales number is going to go up regardless if it's $70, $60, $50, $40. They're always going to have the sales numbers total saying that it sold 2 million copies, 5 million copies. Now, is that at full price or not? That's on them, right? They're going to know if they made enough money off it or not. Being in production for 10 years, it's got to be pretty high budget for this. Even if it was like, I don't know, $1 million a year, it's still $10 million. Now, obviously, they're making that back tenfold because they're charging $70. So obviously, they made $70 million. Now, I'm assuming this game cost around $100 million over the 10-year span, maybe a little bit more. Now, you compare that to a game like God of War that was $200 million budget, but it took 4 years to make. There's a difference, but we don't know the budget. They won't tell us the budget, but I'm going to say right about now, they probably have to sell, I would say, with the advertisement, with all the stuff they put in with over the 9 years of development, I would say they would have to sell around 2.5 to 3 million copies before they start making their money back. But we'll see, right? We'll see. Again, we don't know. This is all of what it is. Let me read what some of you guys are saying in chat. 30, can you do close to the end of your show? Jack Frags did a video of Division Heartlands breakdown. We can see if we could fit it in. We can see if we could fit it in, Jesse. I'm not going to say yes because I want to try to get through the stuff that we have. If it's something, we can maybe talk about it tomorrow or whatnot. If they show you the numbers, then you see the main man behind the curtain. I get it. Yeah, well, absolutely, Travis. And that's what I'm saying. They used to show the numbers, but now because of digital, hold on one second. Now, because they show there's digital, they don't have to share those numbers, right? Because they can hide those numbers just like anybody else, right? Like if I didn't show the likes on my page, or I didn't show my subscribers on my page, like the numbers, I could tell you whatever I want on my channel, right? Like right now, you see that there's only 10 concurrent people watching my channel. I could tell you there's 100 people watching my channel if I don't have that thing. But you can obviously tell that there is not 100 people watching because the chat's not moving. But you see what I'm saying? It's I can manipulate what I want as long as I don't show numbers. Numbers don't lie. Numbers are very accurate and they tell you what it is. The only reason numbers are not accurate is a human error that puts those numbers in. Okay, but if I can see that a game sold 10 million copies and whatnot, then I'm going to know what they sold, and I'm going to pretty much know what the budget is, and so on and so forth. But they don't want to share those type of numbers. 30, it's not brain dead, it's brain full because zombies want brains. Actually, I've never understood why brains. Maybe it's the meat. Maybe they just want organs. I don't think it's actually the brains. Maybe the brain's like the delicacy of zombies. It just tastes better, right? It's like a dark meat, light meat type of thing. I mean, any game loophole if you look for them. Yeah, but no, you don't have to look for this. It literally comes out at you real fast, right? Within the first hour, we saw multiple of the same zombie with the same skins, with the same design, same facial. Like they could have made, let's say, 50 different characters of zombies. Instead, they have like 10, and you see them right away multiple times over and over and over. What's going on, Big Mo? Well, I had one in Red Dead 2 where a guy would attack me if my mask wasn't on. It's a bad design. Well, I don't know that particular thing for Red Dead, but I'm pretty sure that if you did something and you didn't change your outfit in Red Dead, I don't know what your circumstance was, and I honestly don't care. I'm just saying, if you didn't change if you did something bad and then you didn't change your outfit and then they saw you, they would know you were the person that robbed the train or did something bad, and they would attack you. So you would have to cover your mouth or change clothes afterwards so they wouldn't attack you. Do you think that the Dead Island franchise is not for the story, the gameplay, killing zombies? That's what the right or wrong. Let me read that again, Jesse. 30. Do you think that Dead Island's franchise is going not for story, the gameplay / killing zombies? Sure, I think they're going for a fun moment, and I think they've done a decent job. Again, it's not the same studio that did the first Dead Island, and it's like 3 studios that all work together over the years to complete this game. So it's hard to get someone's work, pass it off to another developer, and then that developer has to pass it off to another developer, and then that person has to kind of finish it off, because if they like certain things or didn't like certain things, they can't like rework the whole thing. They just kind of have to do it because they have to get it out. So there might be a little bit of issues there on why the game did what it did, or why it's doing what it's doing. Dead Island 2 is a completely different dev group as well. Dying Light is a true Dead Island 2. Right. There's 3 developers that worked on Dead Island 2. I mean, it changed developer 3 times, so it wouldn't its budget reset each time. No, that's not how that works, Travis. If the game cost $100 million and then they scrapped it and handed it off, they didn't start from scratch. They handed it off, and then it cost another $50 million, and then they handed it off or reset, and then they handed it off to the third, and then they finally worked on it, and then it came out. They still ate that $100 million and $50 million, and then whatever else they worked on. It's not like it's like, oh, let's reset. That money's gone. That money went towards Dead Island 2, and then it moved on to somebody else. I think Dead Island 2 hit its peak. Say it sells 1.5 million. I think, well, I would have to know, Dave, and I think you're right. I think it's going to dip down really big time. Okay, and then once it goes on sale, let's say like $40. We'll see how fast it goes on sale, and this will be a metric, okay? It's not the official metric. But if you see Dead Island a month from now go on sale, you know sales have topped off. So if, let's say they sold a million copies in 3 days, and let's say it in the next month it only sells 500,000 copies, and they're at the 1.5 that you're saying, it's going to go on sale. Once it goes on sale, it'll get an increase again of what they do, and then they'll have an article saying it sold 2.5 million copies and 3 million copies or whatever it is, right? The only metric that we know that we can compare this game to the last game is the last game sold 5 million copies in 2 years, right? The last time they showed was in February of 2013. It came out in 2011. The last time I checked, it was February of 2013. It sold 5 million copies. So if this does better or worse, now, obviously, it's going to do, even if it sells 5 million copies, it's almost worse because production value of this was 9 years and it cost more. So if it matches, it's not going to make as much money as it did before. But now there's also, inflation. So we'll see. We can compare it to that. But yeah, I don't think it's going to sell that well after the word gets out and people see that it's an okay game. Most people will probably wait for it to go on sale. And again, I've said it right off the bat. Don't buy this at full price. Go play a different game at full price that's coming out. Save the money on this game and then buy this game and play this game later for a cheaper price, $40, $30. It's a good $30, $40 game. It's not a 70 or plus game. It's definitely not. But each their own. Cops will tell out on your mask off, and then they will also shoot you in Red Dead 2 Online. Right. It was according to the head of development supposed to grindhouse, whatever that means. What was according to that they stop? They don't add the money to it. Like, who's making this? Who published this? Who gave them the money? Do you know what I mean? It was 3 studios, but who's publishing the game, which was themselves, Deep Silver, I believe. Don't know if this matters, but just read the current build. It took 3 years. Right, but it took 9 years total. Right? It doesn't matter what it took the last studio had. It took 9 years to get this game out over 3 studios. If you guys are getting a buff, I don't know what's happening at YouTube. You can just refresh. Unless it's Atlas Fallen, don't buy the full price either, right? I wouldn't buy Atlas Fallen at full price either. I'd say $25 game. If you paid $70 for this, you're brain dead like the zombies. Yeah, I wouldn't pay $70 for it. No, the genre of Dead Island 2 was grindhouse stuff. Like Machete. Right. Look, I'll go over the people that did this, okay? Deep Silver is the publisher. They've been the publisher, I believe, the entire time. Yeah, they've been the publisher the entire time. Okay. Now, the development, it says Techland was originally set. Oh, hold on. It says Techland was originally to develop the Dead Island 2, but instead it decided to focus on developing Dying Light and Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Deep Silver went to looking for a developer until Yager Development pitched the game Deep Silver in Q3 of 2012. Now, this is the year between when it came out and when the final sales were for Dead Island 1 and got the deal. Yager established the new division, Yager Productions, for development for Dead Island 2. As announced at Sony E3 2014 media briefing, Dead Island 2 was more vibrant than the predecessor. The game was originally scheduled for release in 2015. Okay, now think about that. They pitched it in 2012. 3 years later, it was supposed to come out in Q2 of 2015, which it didn't. At Gamescom 2014, Deep Silver demonstrated gameplay footage from the early version of the game. According to the present content, the game is set in California, including the landmarks such as Santa Monica Pier and Hollywood, as well as many locations of San Francisco. Similar, only fractions of the weapon modifications and the new zombies have been shown at the stage. Furthermore, Deep Silver stated that the game will feature 4 playable characters, which then they put more characters. I think there are 6 characters now. Though only there were shown at the Gamescom demo originally planned to feature 8 players, cooperative players. In July of 2015, Deep Silver announced that Yager has been dropped from developing the game, and the development would be moved over to another unnamed developer. Managing director of the Yager development later stated that the company's departure from the project occurred because Yager and the Deep Silver respective visions of the project fell out of alignment. Yager Productions filed a insolvency in July of 2015. In March of 2016, UK-based studio Sumo Digital announced that they have taken over the development. And in August of 2017, Deep Silver reiterated that the game was in still development, making similar statements again in July of 2018. In August 2019, THQ Nordic announced that the development of the game had changed hands to Dam Buster Studios, an internal studio of Deep Silver. Okay. In 2015, playable version of the still under development game While Jaeger was leaked in June of 2020. The game was shown at Gamescom 2022, and where February 3rd of 2023 release date was announced. In November of 2022, it was announced that the game would be delayed until April 28th of 2023, and additional development time. In February 2023 was the release date was moved to the week of April 21st. So, same developer the entire time, started in 2012, came out in 2013. So technically, it's been actually more than 9 years. It's been 11 years since it was in development and when it came and finally came out. So they're going to need quite a bit of sales to get this up. Now, obviously, when they make articles like this, selling it sold 1 million copies, it's to get the buzz going, hey, this game is really good. You want to play it. Get out there, buy this game because everyone's getting it. It's a fantastic game. And I'm just letting you know it's not a fantastic game. It's a subpar game, not earning your money at full price. If you're a person that paid full price, by all means, have fun with your full price title. I'm just letting you know that it's a $40 game max. Max. $40, I'd be like, I'll wait till it goes on sale. See, even at $25, it's still worth $25 more than which shall not be named. That is your statement there is literally off of your own opinion, not because of what the game is. Okay. This is not comparable, and you comparing it to Elden Ring is idiotic. It is. It's just idiotic. It's not even the same type of game. It's not even the same type of game. I would put this game to the same in the zombie genre as Back 4 Blood, okay? And Back 4 Blood is 100 times better than Dead Island 2. And I didn't like Back 4 Blood. Okay. See, I'm biased on this. I don't hate the game. I think it's a good game, but only at $40. Not 70, and definitely not above that. See, in my opinion, the game is trash. My opinion matters more than what the game is. I don't play games for the masses. I play it for me. Sure. Well, then you could just quiet down then, because if it doesn't matter what anyone else says, then it doesn't matter what you say to me. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you based on what the game is, what I've played. Okay? What I've played is not a $70 game. Now, that's my opinion, but I'm basing it off of the gameplay, the controls, and all that stuff, okay? It's not a $70 game. It's not a next-gen $70 game. It's got next-gen graphics, okay? And that's about it. 9 years, took way too long for them to get it out. They're going to have a hard time making a profit off that. All right, next story. Next story, Wizards of the Coast raids YouTuber's house to take back Magic the Gathering cards. If this doesn't sound scary to you, I don't know what does. Okay, the Magic the Gathering YouTuber found Pinkerton agents at his front door on Saturday morning. Sometimes you accidentally buy something before it hits street date, and you get bragging rights with all your friends. In the case of Magic the Gathering streamer obtaining a box of cards early landed him in hot water with one of the most infamous private security companies in the world. You probably know them as Pinkerton if you also paid attention to the American history class, or at least the Red Dead Redemption 2. They were found as the private detective agency, the agents that made history as effective strike breakers against the union organized labor. Now that most cities have a public police force and immediately workers, Pinkerton has forced a diversity of other forms of work, including seizure of Magic the Gathering booster boxes, it seems. A YouTuber known as Old School MTG claimed that he was shooting videos on Saturday morning when Pinkerton agents arrived at his private residence. His dog started barking at something, and his wife answered the door. Pinkerton agents came knocking on the door to recover a stolen product for Wizards of the Coast, which was the March of Machines Aftermath stuff, he said in his video about the raid. March of Machines, the Aftermath, is an upcoming 50-card MTG card set and is set to release on May 12th this year. intended to be supplement to the March of Machines expansion, which came out last Friday. The streamer intended to purchase the publicly available expansion set, but somehow received the supposedly unreleased Aftermath set instead. Old School MTG didn't think the trading card dealer was intentionally broken the street date or anyone involved that dealt with the stolen product. What believed happened is names are too similar. March of the Machines and March of the Machines Aftermath was somebody screwed up and sent the wrong cases. He noted that the card dealer was more of a Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh guy and probably sold them thinking they were a collector's edition. I'm just hoping that the card dealer didn't also get Pinkerton agents sent to his door too. He probably did. Kotaku reaches out to Old School, and WOTC, a spokesperson for WOTC, confirmed that over email that the private detectives have been sent as part of an investigation. In the video, Old School explained that the agents asked him to WOTC to clear up the incident. The gentleman there was also very nice and very apologetic about making his wife cry first thing in the morning by saying the heavy-duty lawman coming to collect stuff and talking about stolen products in jail time, he said. I don't know if they believe that anybody stole anything or if it was just an accident, but they wanted the product back so they could figure out where the hole was. He did apologize and did also took a lot of stuff, and they had paid a lot of money for it, and they did say that they would compensate us by a little sending us some other products. Yeah, like a backpack or something, right? That's what they do. Well, I feel like this guy deserves a lot more than a few booster boxes after WOTC used literally Pinkerton agents to intimidate his family. Sorry. If the detectives knew that the man lived, they could also at least sent a stern wording letter first. Several YouTube commenters felt similar, as they added the toy company had probably been nice when it called them because it had the grounds for lawsuit. I'm not a lawyer, but if I go to a store, right? If I go to a store and buy something, and again, I don't know, they're not really telling the entire story. You went to a store and bought something. Now, if the store is selling it not knowing that it's a street date broke or whatnot, that's on the store, okay? Now, me as the consumer, I buy that product and I bring it back to my house. It's all good. Now, the problem is he's a YouTuber, which if he made content showing this stuff, that could be taken down, right? Which then could be, but I don't think he made a video of this stuff. In the video that's here, he's talking about how they came to his house, right? Or is this it? The aftermath of the aftermath, everything is gone. So maybe let's watch this and see. See if I can make this a little louder. Oh, hold on one second. You guys can't hear anything. Hold on one second.
Crazy month. Was a really crazy morning. I got up and was doing some videos, recording some videos, and I recorded a regular March of the Machine collector's box opening before the events unraveled of the morning. So that may be a little confusing what I'm saying in that video, so take that with a grain of salt. Right after I got done with the video, dogs started barking because somebody's knocking at the door. I come out and my wife's answering the door, and it was the Pinkertons. If you're not familiar with the Pinkertons, check them out. Yeah, it's like kind of a big deal. They're the largest private security firm in the world, I think. The big heavy hitter guys. Anyway, they come knocking on the door to recover the stolen product from Witches of the Coast, which was the March of Machines.
So is this the stolen product? I mean, see, this is what I don't understand. This is not stolen product. This is just that he bought. He bought and paid for. These agents came to his house to reclaim. But how did they get that information? Right? They would have to go to the store that sold it to him. They would have to ask for credit card information and then do a background check to get where the credit card was linked to, and then they show up to his house, right? There's a lot more to this story than just Pinkerton agents showing up to this guy's house to get Magic the Gathering cards, okay? Like, first off, how did the Wizards of the Coast send this out? Is that their bad? And if it is their bad, they send it to the store, and they know they sent it to that store because that's where they shipped it. Someone maybe behind the scenes did the wrong thing. But then they know this guy purchased it and then shrunk up to his house. Again, I don't know the entire story from the thing. They basically told him he was going to go to jail and serve because they stole items. But if they released it from their warehouse and sent it to the store where he purchased it, there's no crime here. The only crime is the stupidity of Wizards of the Coast, and we know how stupid they are, what they did with the D&D earlier this year. Right? In the company's eye, if you got it early, you stole it. Well, that just seems retarded. He's probably bragged on YouTube about it. Well, I don't think he said he was filming. This is what he said. He was filming the video for the stuff while they showed up. You see what I'm saying? So he didn't even make the content of that video yet that he had the stuff. So I'm a little confused by the act that he did. Now, obviously, if he was just a person that wasn't a YouTuber, right, Quintar, and just bought this and he had it in his own house, he would just be by himself and he'd have something before anybody else. But because of the internet, he gets to share it, and now he's in trouble, type of thing. I know because my friend had something similar happen to him, targeted broke street date on Uncharted, that he bought it knowing it wasn't coming out until 3 days, and he stole it. I mean, it's real simple to, if you know that it comes out the day it comes out, but you get it early, do you make that choice to get it early? Knowing that you know it comes out 3 days early, if you're not sharing it with anybody else, Travis, and you buy it yourself or play it and don't share with anybody else, no harm, no foul. But if you're sharing with other people, then yeah, I would think that is a crime. Now, I mean, not stolen, but you knowing ahead of time that you're trying to get it to make money off of it, right? This guy is a YouTuber, and he's trying to break to get people to click on his video so he makes monetary value off of it. I'm sure your friend wasn't making monetary value off of it. He just knew it comes out 3 days early, and he wanted to get it 3 days early. Perhaps a stakeout. But is that a big thing? I mean, if it's a stakeout, probably what happened was, and this is my thought process, Wizard of the Coast had someone internally ship out the wrong thing to this store. They tracked it to the store. They went to the store and said, hey, we gave you the wrong box. You have things that are not supposed to be out yet. Did you put it on the shelf? Yes, I sold it to one person. I need to see that person's information. They get the person's information, and then they go to the guy's house to get that information, to grab the stuff back. Okay? The bullying stuff or trying to intimidate them because they did something wrong is just wrong, because he didn't do anything wrong. He went to the store, saw the thing, and was like, yeah, I'll buy that. He might have mentioned it in forums somewhere. Perhaps. Yeah, but that's just it, though, boss. If you purchased it and it's not supposed to be out in the street date, this is where they would monetary value in, right? Like, he purchased it. They go, okay, I'm sorry. We'll send you something out. Sorry for your inconvenience. Right? Instead of intimidating him, they should be like, hey, this is not supposed to come out till May 12th. You got it early. It was an internal error. It was an internal error with Wizards of the Coast. We sent it out. The guy sold it before it was supposed to come out. We would like to compensate you. Here's your money back. Here's some booster packs and whatnot. Here's enough money to buy it when it comes back out in the thing. Sorry for the inconvenience, type of thing. But they intimidated this dude, which is just kind of messed up in my eyes. So I'll sell it back to you. Understand? That's extortion. That's a crime. Yeah, that's what you couldn't do, right? Because then they could sue you, because now you're trying to extort them. Why they hired them 30? It sounds shady. Well, right. The Pinkerton, the Pinkerton agents that are there, they're a private security firm, so they're hired to do certain things because the law enforcement themselves won't do it, right? should do and what they are different things. They should have apologized and won't because their eyes they did something wrong, right? Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of issues here. I mean, I'm giving a glance over of what we read and what my opinions are. Obviously, Wizard of the Coast is wrong, 100%, no matter what scenario, because this guy didn't like steal it from the warehouse. He bought it at a store, and how did the store get it? He would have to know a buyer or distributor giving him that thing, which is Wizards of the Coast. So somebody in Wizards of the Coast company either gave the company it early, or somebody inside made a mistake and shipped it out early, right? So there you go. Wizards of the Coast are such asshats. They stopped buying their products. Yeah, I mean, we know they're idiots because we saw what they were doing, not only with the Hasbro, with Transformers and G.I. Joe. They don't know what to do with it. They own it, okay? And now what they did with D&D, and now what they're doing with this, they're just hitting on all cylinders right now. I think they already pre-ordered it, but it gone wrong. I don't think it was supposed to hit the street dates. Now, there are times in retail, like if you're in a store, that you get products a couple of weeks early, right? They get it out there so it's there and ready to go, and it's supposed to be in the back shelf. Now, if Wizard of the Coast didn't have a problem with this, now this is why I don't know the Pinkerton agents were sent out. Okay, the private agency was sent out. Wizard of the Coast would have to know that the box was sent out early and know that it was being sold. So I want to say it goes back to Wizards of the Coast shipping it out too early, okay, more than a person that sold it to the company and then watching the company going, let's see if they sell it to somebody, right? Like, I don't think it was internally in the comic book store or the board game store that was maliciously trying to sell it. I think they got sold out first, and then they were like, oh yeah, put it on the shelf, and then this guy happened to come in and purchase it, but who knows? Besides, why play D&D when you can play Edgelord D&D? They set up the display days before, released on accident. I bought it, told my friends about it, rushed over, and just, oh yeah, I've done certain things, boss, where you can do that. But there's a difference between you buying it, going home and playing it, and then you going online and then talking about it, right? There's a big difference, right? There's a big difference. And again, if the companies make the mistake, they should eat that cost. That's them, right? So, all right, let's go to the next story here. All right, so Microsoft is reportedly not pleased with the current state of Xbox. Okay, before I even read this, I just want to make it clear that you guys can go back and check Generation X Gaming years and years ago when they were leading up to Game Pass, and I said that leading up to Game Pass, I said that Xbox is playing a different game than everybody else, and I also said it's bad for the industry, and they're not going to be making a lot of sales, because why would you purchase a game if it's on Game Pass? I've been saying this for years and years and years. So let's read the article. So it's been reported the parent company of Microsoft has not been thrilled about the state of its popular gaming brand, Xbox, recent months. Xbox is still set up, will have stellar 2023 after underwhelming output in the first-party titles in 2022. Now, Xbox started its first year off with a bang, shadow dropping Hi-Fi Rush at its developer Direct in January, Tango Gameworks stylish third-person action rhythm game. Okay, and later on, they have Minecraft Legends, Arcane's Redfall next month, and Bethesda's Behemoth Starfield in September, Forza Motorsports, and possibly more. And fall, Xbox fans were ready to potentially enjoy the biggest and best of year of gaming in a very long time. Now, on this game's Mess podcast industry, journalist Jeff Grubb reported that Microsoft isn't happy with the current state of Xbox. He mentions that Xbox Dry 2022 was key factor in the players who bought the Xbox Series X or S consoles may be regretting their purchases. Last year saw Xbox Game Studios release only 4 smaller projects of Forza Horizon 5, Hot Wheels DLC, and 1.0 release of Grounded, Age of Empires 4, and an anniversary edition of Pentium. Obsidian Pentium was a critical darling, and Xbox serves a lack of AAA outputs in 2022 was still disappointing for many Xbox Live fans. Now, Jeff Grubb reports come just a week after a confirmation that Redfall will only be playable at 30 frames per second upon launch, rather than the industry standard of 60 frames per second, which will become available on a later date. This news has thrown in a wrench in Redfall's momentum, and many fans calling for a second delay and questioning why the game can only run 30 frames per second on the Xbox Premium Series X console. Even after the initial year-long delay, another contribution factor of this fact is that Xbox's rival PlayStation has been dominating the console market in recent months, with PlayStation 5 even outselling PlayStation 4 over a 29-month period. Now, toss in Xbox inadequate market efforts, making it all shapes and sizes from Final Fantasy 16 to Oxenfree 2, lost signals, keeping the console. It's clear that Xbox is somewhat in a rough spot right now. It's not all doom and gloom, though. Despite all the negativity of Xbox can still turn things around in the big 2023 lineup in the chamber. Frame rates aside, Redfall still has a potential to be stellar, and Starfield might be the massive AAA banger experience Xbox has been needing its side for a while. Xbox Summer Showcase is in June, and who knows what else is in store for the second half of the year. So, I've said this in the very beginning, and I've said this multiple times, that when a game comes out, when Halo launched, it sold 2 million copies, okay? For a Halo brand, that's not very good, okay? But 2 million copies were sold, but a lot more people played Halo, but they're not going to buy it because they had Game Pass, okay? Same thing that goes with Outriders, a third-party game, okay? Lots of people didn't purchase the game because it was on Game Pass. We're always looking for deals, right? Before all of Game Pass came out, majority of the population of gamers didn't buy full-price games. Hence why there's a little store called GameStop, okay, where you would buy used games. Most secondhand stores would buy or sell secondhand games. You would take your game, play your game, and sell it to GameStop, or I don't personally. I have all my games that I've ever purchased. I never sold anything back to GameStop, but there are people that sell back to GameStop. It's a huge billion-dollar business that was there for 2 decades. Okay, and now that there's more digital aspects, people have to pay full price. This is why the companies are making it digital boxes. This is why they're making streaming services, because they want all the money up front. They want to keep you inside their ecosystem. There's literally billion-dollar industry of GameStop where people would buy deals. They would want deals on their games. There's no difference now. People are looking for deals. And Xbox has those deals because they put stuff on Game Pass. So why would you go out and pay $70, $100, $120 for certain games when you can play it day and date on Game Pass, right? Most people only buy 3 major titles a year, okay? Xbox is getting that money up front because they get 12 months up in advance, and those people already have 3 games. And then anything after that, they're making an additional 10, 20, 40, 60, 100, between microtransactions, season passes, DLCs, and everything else in between on the platform of Game Pass. Sony does the same thing with PlayStation Premium, okay? Their model, I like better. Take a game, sell a game, make as much money from that game as possible, and then 6, 8, 12 months later, then put it on your premium service, where then people are paying $10, $12, $25 or whatever it is, where they pay a monthly fee to play those games, right? Run it through its course, and then put it on the premium. Microsoft has a different plan. Now, there's a different metric. We don't know what this metric is. And this is why I hate not knowing numbers, because we can all speculate on what's happening and how much money they're losing and how much money they're making, but none of it's like fan fiction in Star Wars, okay? And Marvel, right? It's just all out there and we don't really know anymore. They're not following the lore. So Game Pass, we don't know if their metric is how many people are playing the games, how many people are consistently coming back, how many people. We don't understand that, right? So in the next article that continues on with this, right, because they're not happy with the sales and stuff that are going on. We don't know who is not happy, right? We just have someone saying that these people are not happy. Minecraft Legends. Now, this is a small little segment. It just came out. Sold 76% on the Switch. It makes sense. A lot of kids have a Switch. Lots of kids also play Minecraft. They like Minecraft. So it sold 76% on the Switch. 19% of Minecraft Legends sold on PlayStation platforms. And the lowest percentage, if you guys can't see it, is 5% on Xbox. Now, this is only in the UK charts. Again, if a game's coming on Game Pass on day and date why would you purchase it? And I know there's these people that like to defend Xbox where they say, yeah, people are still buying games. Sure. 5% sales were on Xbox. I guarantee you that 95% of people that have Xbox are all getting it on Game Pass. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's the thing. So if a game comes out, and let's say it costs, I don't know, Minecraft Legends, let's say it costs $20 million, right? Let's just say it cost $20 million in development for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it was, right? I doubt it even cost $20 million. But let's say it cost $20 million. Okay, well, now they're putting it on Game Pass, and they sold 5%. So let's just take the UK number and say there's 20 million people that, between Game Pass, there's 25 million people. Well, 5% of that bought it. The rest of them, right? If everybody that had Game Pass purchased it, or was all playing it, and 5% of the 25 million, they have 5 million people that purchased the game. Okay, well, 5 million people that purchased it at, is it a $30 game or $40 game? I forget. I think it's a $40 game. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I'm not going to look it up. I'm just going to do a bare, okay, I think it's a $40 game. Right? So they make $200 million. $200 million. Just off of that. Plus the other 95% that pay for Game Pass for the month. Okay, which is $250 million every single month. Okay, so we don't know the metric, right? We don't know the metric. Now, obviously, the UK charts, they could have had 1,000 people and 5% of 1,000 people purchased it, right? Microsoft is unhappy putting out not first-party games on Game Pass. But I want to know who these people are. Are they investors? Are the investors not happy? Are the suits not happy? Like, who is not happy, right? That we know, like, official. We all know rumors of people and insiders that are saying that there are certain people that are not happy, but we don't know who's unhappy. But all users aren't on Game Pass. Of course, Mo. But majority of the people that buy that game are not. There's 25. Okay, just stop for a second, Mo. I know you're an Xbox fanboy and you're drinking green Kool-Aid all day long. Okay, if there's 30 million people or 25 million people, 15 million people on Xbox, or on PC have Game Pass, and the other 10 million. Okay, the system right now, the system right now, I think is sold. How many sales do they have? Xbox Series X/S sales total. Okay, they have 12.38 million units sold. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. That's wrong. They have 9.97. This is as March 6th of 2023. That's what I'm going off of. Okay. So let's just say they have 10 million people that have an Xbox Series SX, and out of that percentage, those people are have Game Pass. Okay. The small group, the 5% that doesn't have Game Pass, purchased the game. Right. Well, the rest of the people have Game Pass. They're not going to purchase the game. The game's not going to make as much money. Okay, they're not. It's just not going to make as much money as it would if it came out on all platforms and didn't be on Game Pass day and day one. Okay, if you take two games and put it day and date and not day and date, I guarantee you the game that didn't have on a Game Pass day one would have more sales, okay, than the person that came out on day and date. That's just facts, man. That's facts. Majority of the people are not going to buy the game on day one because it's on Game Pass. Sure, Tango's expanding, but that's not because of the sales they've made. They're making it because they made a good game, and Game Pass, Microsoft is like, hey, great game. It gave us enough buzz or whatever, and whatever percentage that was, they just pay that money up front. They're okay. It's a lost number for them. Microsoft is $1 trillion company. They just throw money at people so they can stay in the industry. They can stay in the market. Boss says, I imagine bigwigs that look at the numbers and graphs. You don't have to be an idiot to see the sales numbers are dropping off. Right, but we don't know the metric, right, boss? The investor wants to just make money. But the people making the thing going, look, we're going to make money. It's just not day and date. right? You're not making the $1 million day one. You're making the $1 million over 4 months, right? So they might not be happy on the return investment, but we don't know what that actually is, right? I can speculate. You can speculate. None of us know because they don't share those numbers. What's going on, Cujo? I'm saying it because there's always somebody unhappy. It only matters if the someone's important. Right. Right. There could be 20 people that are bitching, but the one person that's like, yeah, I'm okay with it. That's what goes. It's the players, right? Because companies work for the players. Yeah. Yeah. 24.5% is a huge drop off on the top of the of getting masqueraded in its own territory or massacred in its own territory. It's Netflix all over again. Why would they buy a game when they can stream it? Here, perfect, Travis, right? Let's talk about Netflix, right? Let's talk about Netflix. When you went to the theater, you saw a movie and you loved that movie. And then when the movie came out on DVD, you bought that movie. How many, honestly, how many of you are going out and purchasing DVDs when you watch a movie now? You probably just wait for it to come on Netflix or Disney Plus or Hulu or Peacock or whatever. And then you just stream it again to watch it, right? Right? But you do understand, boss, that you are the minority now, right? Just facts. If you go to Best Buy or Target, that section is minuscule now, right? That section is absolutely devastated and gone. Okay? That's what I'm saying. So Game Pass is that, okay? Why would you, if it was a demo, now here's the difference, okay? Think about the business sense of day and date. Let's say Game Pass said, okay, we have a first-party title coming out, and you could play the first 2 hours, 3 hours of the game, and then afterwards, you played and go, wow, this is a really good game. You would probably go buy that game. But if they give you the whole game on Game Pass, and you're a person that's looking for a deal, because most people are looking for deals, okay? I don't know lots of people that are going out and paying full price for things without wheeling and dealing, okay? Whatever that is. If it's a toaster oven, a car, a house, you're looking for the best deal. So I doubt many people would go out and go, oh, yeah, no. They would buy the game straight up because they played the demo. But the whole game is on Game Pass. So why, if you have Game Pass, would you purchase the game? And I know someone's going to be like, I do. Congratulations, you're the minority, paying for a service and then buying a full-price game. Majority of the people are like, I have the service, I'm just going to play the game. I'm going to buy a D&D movie. That's hell, I plan just to stream Mario movie. Microsoft, as of a last number, is making $3 billion a year just from Game Pass subs. Right, but that's before they pay out everything, right? No, that's not what they're making off of that. Let's make that clear. Okay, obviously they're making $250 million, and I understand the business model. I personally don't like the business model because I think it's going to hurt in the long run down the road. Because what happens is, even if there's subpar games, even if they're top tier games, whatever it is, there's going to be this conditioning that's happening now. It's already here. When a game comes out, like Dead Island 2, we were just talking about it. Most people are going, yeah, I'm not gonna buy that. I'll wait for it to come on Game Pass. That's a statement, right? That's a thing that people think about now. If a game is just out, they're like, I'll just wait for it to come on Game Pass. Everybody that has Game Pass is just like, I'll wait for Game Pass. They don't want to pay full price for the games anymore because they've been conditioned to waiting for the games to come out. Okay, so games like Minecraft Legends, which is a good game, right? Is it earth-shattering, awesome first-party title? It's a good first-party title. I think it's a great another addition to the Minecraft umbrella of Minecraft Dungeons, and Minecraft Legends. It's a $40 game. It's priced well, okay? It's priced well. Hi-Fi Rush, another game, priced well. I think it was $40 as well. It's not a full-price game. Those games, to me, are in the right price category that people would buy the game. But again, there's people, I played Hi-Fi Rush on Game Pass. Why would I purchase it? Now, I can see this, but here's a different standing. If we actually own games, not licensed games, okay, because here's the other conditioning that we've been introduced to. A lot of people still don't know this, but if you buy a physical copy or a digital copy, you don't own that game. Most people, when they bought the game, they're like, I own that game. So they would purchase the game. But now most people are like, why would I buy the game? I don't own that game anymore. right? So why would I want to own it when I have games on my shelf I can't play because they've taken them away from me? Okay, so that's another conditioning of people going, yeah, I'm not going to buy the physical copy anymore because I don't own the game regardless if it's physical or digital. Eventually, I will be remove games from Game Pass, and you'll lose access. Correct, but I don't think they're going to. Well, I don't want to say they're not going to remove Quintar. First-party title games, they're most likely not going to remove, especially because they're going to run out of gaming space. The MO for Microsoft is they have, once the Activision Blizzard deal goes through, they're going to have I think it's 42 or 48 studios. Okay, if they have 48 studios making games, okay, they can average 10 first-party title games every year, maybe 12, okay, every year for 4 years, okay, right? Because, yeah, let's just say 48. If they have 12, 24, 48, yeah. So in that time span it makes the game, they can have one first-party title, regardless if it's AA, AAA, subpar, mediocre, awesome game, whatever. They can have one first-party title dropping every single month for 4 years. Indefinitely. Because while the first company drops it in January of next year, of 2024, okay, that company can then work on the next game that they're working on, okay, first-party title, for the next 4 years. So the next time they drop a title is January of 2028. You see what I'm saying? So third-party titles will get taken off of Game Pass, but first-party titles, the more it goes on, okay, regardless if you're on the Xbox Series X or the future of Xbox, whatever the console is, those first-party title games are going to start cluttering, and they have so many first-party title games. 2-3 years from now, they'll have 36 first-party title games on Game Pass, where that's what they'll promote. That's what they'll push. And other guys will be like, well, I want to get on Game Pass because this many people are on Game Pass. I want to make some extra sales. But they'll get drowned out by the first-party titles. Okay? That's what Microsoft is trying to do. They're paying for the third-party games now to fluff up Game Pass until they can make their first-party titles become on Game Pass. Let me see what you guys are saying in chat here. Giving the keys to the store is crippling to the competition. Only works with the competition is incompetent. Eventually, they'll remove games. So I already read that. This is how I am with Jedi Survivor. Yeah, I'm buying Jedi Survivor, but I'm buying the digital copy of it, you know? We did the same thing in Dallas, Texas. We opened some stores over the final of the selling groceries and meat at affordable cost, but losing money hand over fist. Hand over first, hand over fist. I've got an Xbox new slogan, Game Pass. We know you're cheap bastards. But I don't think it has to do with cheap bastards. What was it before, though, Travis? You never, let me get this straight, Travis. You've never purchased a game from GameStop secondhand, ever. You've never, ever sold or bought a secondhand game in your entire life. If the answer is yes, then you are a cheap bastard as well. Okay, I just want to make that clear. You've never, ever bought a second-hand title from a GameStop store. See, I never bought used games. Never. Until about 5 years ago when they said, you don't own the games anymore. I said, well, why would I pay full price? Walmart was charging insane highway robbery costs, being one of the few options in Dallas. Oh, for the meats, boss? Is that what you're talking about? Forza because of licensing. Poor Activision, that green Kool-Aid was poison. They don't know it yet. Yes, I think they're buying to build their own titles in all games. Of course, Mo. That's what they're trying to do, right? Buy all these companies making RTSs and first-person shooters and racing games and all the sports games and whatnot. That's what they're trying to do. Not completely true, though. They eventually remove license, checked from the game. I can download Deadpool Fable 3 on Steam anytime I want. Can't buy them on Steam or find the store page anymore. Sure, like that Marvel Avengers will be gone soon, right? Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I can't, if you don't own the game, you can't buy that game anymore because of licensing. That's delisting and stuff. Those are third-party games, right? First-party games, like Sony, is not going to lose Spider-Man because they own Spider-Man. Until they stop paying for Spider-Man, right, they'll lose it, okay? And I'm talking about the movie, not the game, okay? Like, they own Spider-Man, so they're going to continue making Spider-Man in their contract and keep doing it. The video game itself of Spider-Man, they have to keep paying. They have to keep paying to keep Spider-Man on PlayStation. There's going to be a day, even though PlayStation has Spider-Man as a first-party title, there's going to be a day that PlayStation 6 comes out and they're not going to support PlayStation, the Spider-Man 1 and 2 and Miles Morales on the old system anymore because they stopped paying for the license. Okay? Games like that, sure. But a lot of first-party title games are not licensed to Marvel or Star Wars, right? Or big-name companies, right? They're just owned straight up by the actual person themselves. That's right, Jesse. The Keystone, so smooth. Keith Stone. I'm the George Carlin of gaming. I have cheap old bastards, and I'm happy to tell you I get off my damn lawn despite having no lawn. Now we have open multiple stores. Are you still talking about that? Okay. Spider-Man 2, all Xbox games combined. No, it'd be blue. I don't think it'd be white. It'd be blue. What metrics do you think Amazon Prime uses? They have a similar-ish business model where they sell movies, shows, but also have free Prime movies. Yeah, I everything about Amazon is just weird, Robert Jones, right? Like, their movies rentals, I guarantee you they rent more movies than people buy movies, right? Because their also business model is you buy a movie and they also sell you the server space, right? So you're paying, this is where they got you to here. So not only do you pay to buy the movie, but then you also buy server space on Amazon as well. If that's included in your Amazon Prime and you only have a certain amount and then you have to buy more space, right? They're selling a bunch of different stuff. Well, the emulators doesn't mean it's they get around it, right? Like, for instance, Star Wars Galaxies, right, is still running because there's a population that keeps the emulator and mods and stuff going, but technically that game is dead and it's against the rights to use it, right? Losing money is okay for companies like Microsoft if they mean to make it elsewhere, but if you're doing tactics that give the keys to the store, the competition is still making money, it's a fail. I think though, boss, as if we look at it just from an Xbox against PlayStation is one thing. But if you look at Microsoft as a business in total, right? I don't think they're losing money, right? I think the lost money that they're doing for Game Pass, like, here, you work in a grocery store, or you don't work, but you work for a grocery store, right? There's stuff that they lose money on in a grocery store, but it gets people in the door, right? This is when they do the sales and stuff like that, they're losing their ass on that. But at the same time, the people that come in, which is a small percentage, are like, oh, bread's on sale, I'm just going to get bread. And they go in and they grab the bread or they grab the fruit 2 for 1 or whatever it is, okay? But the majority of the people go, oh, I'm going to go to the store, bread's on sale, what else do we need? And then they mark up prices on other things, right? And it covers it, right? So that's what Xbox Game Pass is doing, right? I believe, and again, they're not telling you this, okay? So I believe that Game Pass, not only are they getting your monthly fee, they're getting the 3 games a year. If you're a Game Pass member, the average person gets 2 to 3 games a year. They're getting 3 games a year, okay? And they're making more off that, right? Not only are you getting the 3 games, for instance, I don't buy microtransactions, but I do buy DLC. I pay Game Pass every single month. I play lots of different games on Game Pass. My son plays a whole bunch of games on Game Pass, okay? But Minecraft Dungeons, right? I'm not paying for Minecraft Dungeons, but I play Minecraft Dungeons every once in a while with my son. But then we also bought the DLC for $5, and there's like 3 or 4 DLCs. So I spent an additional $20. So now I've paid for 3 games, and now they've made an additional $20 on me because of Game Pass, right? Then there's another DLC, and then there's a season pass with other people that buy certain things. So not only are they getting the 3 games up front, where other companies have to wait until they release the game and then they get 3 games sales. Okay, they're getting 3 game sales up front before they even give you a game, before they even release a game. And then they're making money on top of that as well. I know that's how you do it in the supermarket, because we have a store as well on property and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what businesses do. Star Wars Galaxy is an MMO, though. It's not a local game. No, but what I'm saying, Quintar, regardless if it's a local game or a multiplayer game, what I'm saying is doing an emulator is technically illegal. They can get shut down and whatnot. What I'm saying is that on PC, obviously, it's harder to guard against, right? These companies can't really stop it from happening because someone could just put it on their local server and host it or whatnot. It's not worth the time to like go out and try to stop those type of games. Okay, because it's a small percentage of people that are going out and playing Star Wars Galaxy. There's like 300 people or whatever, right? Like, how much money are they losing because they didn't pay for the licensing, right? But there's other games out there that millions of people would play, and they're like, no, we don't want to do that. Hence why they stop mods for certain things like Grand Theft Auto and things like that. EA Mobile Marketing, they're getting billions and billions of money every day. But then on console, yeah, there was a stat I just heard. I forget what podcast I heard it on, that Amazon makes $3 billion every every 2 days or every 3 days or something like that. They make basically $1 billion a day, right? Now, I'm not saying Microsoft is doing that, but you got to see that's what Microsoft is trying to compete against, right? This is why Phil Spencer said we're going up against Google and Amazon. Not worried about Sony. Sony has televisions and toasters and electronics and all that other stuff. As gamers, we get stuck on this fanboyism of PlayStation versus Xbox, but it's bigger than that. It's Microsoft has an Xbox in this ecosystem to go up against PlayStation, but they're not really going up against Sony. They need each other for competition. Competition brings up the value, right? Because Xbox is so shitty right now, right, in the eyes of a lot of people, it brings up the value of Sony, right? If Xbox just left, Sony would be the only thing left against Nintendo, and then people would start comparing those two systems, right? And that's not good for competition. They want multiple systems and multiple companies doing the same thing. Boss, are you asking about what I said about the store over here? No, we literally have a farm. My family, or I should say my wife's family, we live on a farmland, and we have our own store on our property. Like, locals come and buy their fresh produce and meats from us. We have our own store. Wait, emulators are illegal? Yeah, they're illegal if you're using games that you're not paying for. Yes, 100%. Like, if you're not paying for the license of Mario and you're playing Mario and you bought it from like some Chinese company that has 1,000 emulators on the thing, that's not a sanctioned thing. Let's just call a spade a spade. Xbox is amazing. They made the one potato even the Irish won't touch. Well, as a gamer, we focus on the consoles for gaming aspect. Yes, but business, Microsoft is a great white. Sony is a salmon. But since we're gamers, we mainly focus. Right, but the stand that I take on, boss, is in general. Like, Game Pass and Xbox is one tool in the set of Microsoft stuff, right? What Microsoft has done with the Windows system over the last 30 years, 3 decades, 4 decades, okay, is what they're trying again to do with games, right? Do you see that? Like, they're trying to make Game Pass and gaming that other app that you just kind of open up. So, like, When you open up a Windows machine, Game Pass is in there. When you open up your television set, Game Pass will be there, type of thing. And I know they're not the exact same, but that's what they're trying to do. You can legally create a ROM if you own a license to access the offline games, so the use of emulators aren't illegal. No, I didn't say. All right, using the emulators are not illegal, but the emulators themselves are basically stealing money from the pockets of people that created the games, right? But it's such a small market, not everyone is playing emulators. You see what I'm saying? If the market got big enough, they would go after the people with emulators or the people that make emulators. I mean, right now, I just saw an ad that's selling 10,000 games off. It's literally a PlayStation controller with a fucking thumb drive that you shove into your television set. It's got 10,000 games, right? It's 100% such a small market. They're not going to go after it. It's like the Sega Genesis and the Nintendo, you see what I'm saying? Those are emulators, but those are legal emulators because they have the actual official, like Nintendo puts the N64 system out or the NES system out and Sega puts the Genesis system out. Those are legal things because they own the games, and this is why not all their games are on it. This is why they have like 100 games or they have 50 games or 20 games because they own those games and they're trying to resell them. That's okay. That's sanctioned. The other ones that you get off of other places, like Soulja Boy with the emulator, stuff like that, that's completely different. If you're going to go buy a new car at $33,000, how much would you put down? Well, one, I don't put any money down when I buy a car, B. That's just me. We don't put anything down. That's because I negotiate. And my wife's the best at it. We get ridiculous deals. Buying a car is like a completely different. It's like a game itself. My wife is so good at buying a car that we don't even show up until the deal's done. She does everything through emails. And if we show up and they try to waste our time, she walks out the door and says, "Let me know when you're ready to make a sale." We play good cop, bad cop. I walk in, they try to talk to me. I go, no, you don't talk to me. It's like, talk to the wife. And they don't know what to do. They're like, wait a minute, you're not the guy. Nope, she's in charge of the car. If she's happy with it, we buy the car. My hatred for Xbox stems from very simple reason. Y'all ruined Rare. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, right, Travis? Any company that buys another company up, they're gonna grab what's good and then spit out what's not good. I mean, look what Elon did with Twitter. He fired 80%, and yet Twitter still runs, right? I mean, that's business. It's sad but true. I love Nintendo growing up. PlayStation came out. I enjoyed Dynasty Warriors, Resident Evil, Tekken games. Like, to my allegiance became unyielding for Sony. Sure, and that's understandable, boss, right? That's understandable. That you go from when you were a kid, most kids don't play PlayStation games. And if they do play PlayStation games, they're probably playing, like, non-violent first-person shooters, first-person party games on PlayStation, right? Maybe they get into, like, Gran Turismo or whatnot. But you start off on a smaller system. Now, obviously, it's different now because there's adults that buy systems and they have kids and they might play the games, but then it turns into parenting. What games can your kids play? Like, for instance, my son, he gets to play certain games but not others. The abundance of games that he has, though, he plays the Switch, right? He started off iPad with Minecraft and then moved over to Switch and then moved over to Xbox, right? And there'll be a time where he'll want to play, like he does play Spider-Man on this television. He plays Spider-Man and whatnot on the PlayStation, right? Because he likes swinging through the city. So there are certain times that he plays but he has his favorite. As he gets older, I think it's going to change. I think he's going to want to play different games because his friends are going to have certain consoles and like, oh, can we play this? I want to play that. And that's just the way it works. It's like evolution. This is why I say Nintendo is from birth to death. PlayStation, you pick up like you're like 11, 12, type of thing. Right? That's 11 years. Right? That's 10, 11 years of Nintendo before you even get to the PlayStation. Actually, Rare was going down the drain, and then Microsoft bought them. Sure, but they were also dissolved basically. I mean, Peter Molyneux, that's why he left the company. They were in trouble. You're not wrong, but you're also not right, Mo. Oops, sorry. All right, we talked way too much about that. Let's talk about let's see. We got court rules in favor of Apple and Fortnite lawsuit. The U.S. Appeals Court rules in favor of Apple following the 2021 ruling of the lawsuit filed against the tech company by Epic Games. Let's just go out into the third paragraph. Apple appealed the decision of Epic Games' lawsuit this month after ruling, and it's reported that Bloomberg, the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, ruled that Apple's favor, upholding that Apple did not violate antitrust law with practices banning third-party marketplaces. The appeals court also affirmed that the lower court's rejection of the Epic claims that Apple had a monopoly on these transactions. And the three judges panel stated that Lively is important to debate about the role played in the economic democracy of online transactions platforms with market power, but affirmed that it does not seek to come to a definite conclusion of the discourse. Now, 9 out of the 10 claims judged by the court were determined in Apple's favor, something that the company viewed as a resounding victory. However, Apple maintained that it did not agree with the decision made by the remaining claim that it is considering further review. This also could result in further legal developments and previously seen in the unredacted lawsuit between Epic and Google, which included allegations and Activision Blizzard was paid by Google to not open its own app store, something that is also denied by both parties. Much of this dispute between Apple and Epic has fueled by the former company's stance on third-party marketplaces being banned in the iOS devices. This was changed for the European consumers, and the EU required Apple to allow third-party app stores on iOS devices, although Apple was made other changes to operations to make itself more open to third-party marketplaces. These have largely not been applied to gaming apps, with Fortnite still not being available on the App Store, is mostly between Apple and Epic still presents. It also remains that it's also whether fans will not be able to download the game on Apple Storefront anytime soon. So there's an update there on the court ruling on Apple and Fortnite lawsuit. Hey, does anybody know, while using Opera XG, all of a sudden I can't close ads, and I don't know why I can't close ads. I didn't touch anything in my settings, but I can't do anything to. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe there's something here. Sidebar, synchronization, search engine default. I don't see where ads are, ad blocker or anything. I don't know why it's doing it all of a sudden. Why would those huge amounts of money, if they made it exclusive and would kill the brand, it stands to because that Sony would make Lucifer and also would be 100 times better. For what part? I'm sorry. Let me go back up and see what you're saying. Let me see what you're saying. They wanted to sign a death warrant of Diablo title. I don't think Microsoft Blizzard, that's dumb. Person to be fine. Look at Sea of Thieves. Diablo will always be a multi-platform because it's made every 10 years. Yeah, I don't think they're going to take Diablo off of the platform. They're just going to put it on Game Pass. I know they say they're not going to put it on Game Pass right now until Activision's owned by Microsoft, and then Diablo will be on Game Pass at some time. Sea of Garbage is constantly getting Sea of Garbage is getting content, and plenty of folks still playing it right now. Why you guys playing half-ass Diablo 6? We're enjoying Lucifer. Well, you know, my friend who's also has Xbox says it's also trash. I mean, I don't think Sea of Thieves is trash. I think it's actually a really good game. But you know, it's for a particular player base. I think it'll be on by season 2. Season 2 is when? Is that like February? I'm gonna say by next summer. I don't know what that is, boss, but I'm gonna say that by it all depends on how popular it is and what they're doing and what the sales numbers are. But I'm pretty sure it'll be by next summer. It'll be on there. Yeah, but Mo, didn't you say Sea of Garbage? Probably season 4. Yeah, maybe 3, because I know they're not doing a season right off the bat. We're waiting 3 months, right? 3 months, so it launches, and then the first season is so June, July, August, like September-ish. Was it? No. Big Mo said Sea of Garbage is constantly getting content. Oh, did Travis say Sea of Garbage and he was saying... I got you. You're not going to cancel Water. You think it'll be there that early, Mo? See, I don't think they'll do it that early. I agree with you. It'll be on Game Pass. I just don't agree it'll be that soon. And here, let's play that scenario out though, Mo. Right? How many people on Xbox would be pissed off if they paid the full price and then a month later, right, or 2 months later, it's on Game Pass, right? I'm not in that mindset, right? Like if I enjoy a game and I played it, I'm okay with spending the money, but it would be pretty shitty, right? Because I know a lot of people will be like, "What? I just paid $100, $120," even though they played 1,000 hours by the time it came out on Game Pass. Right, but that's what I was talking about earlier, boss. It's this culture. It's this, you've been conditioned to any game that comes out, if it looks subpar, okay, is that I'll wait for it to come on Game Pass. And then the other mentality is, oh, if it's on Game Pass, it's shit. Right? You see what I'm saying? Even though if it doesn't come out on day and date on Game Pass, it's not considered shit. But if it comes on the Game Pass, well, the game was sucked and it's only going on Game Pass, right? And that's what I don't understand, right? All right, next thing I want to talk about is the mod over on... oh, I gotta mute that. This is a mod on Battlefront 2. Those of you that play Battlefront 2, if you're not playing on PC, which I'm not, I think I want to buy it just so I can play it. Oh, actually, I think I have it because of Game Pass, so I can actually play it on PC. But there's a mod that you can get to play the Bad Batch. Now, those of you that don't know, there's a lot of different mods for Battlefront 2 that you can be like Ventress and a whole bunch of other characters, but you can actually play the characters. Now, I think they use certain other characters to be those characters. But this game, longevity of this game after they've stopped supporting it, I think it's been 2 years since they stopped supporting it, okay, is just it's just a fun, fantastic game. was when it came out. The only problem with the game when it came out is they had those loot boxes in there. They got rid of them before the game launched, but the game itself was actually pretty good, and they supported it the way they did it. I would hope they would support other games the way they supported this game as much as they did the updates and whatnot, right? But yeah, the Bad Batch stuff is pretty interesting. They actually have the voice lines and whatnot in here. So the reason I'm bringing this up is if you are a Star Wars Battlefront 2 player and you didn't know, there's now mods for the Bad Batch if you are a Bad Batch fan. Some people, including me, don't care if the game is on Game Pass or not, still buy the game to support the devs. Sure, but again, the majority of the population, Quintar, on Xbox, if you have Game Pass, most people are not gonna buy the game. That's fact, right? Starfield comes out. Let's say it could sold as many games as Hogwarts Legacy. Obviously, it's not going to because it's not on all systems. But let's just say 10 million units sold. Not all 10 million people that bought that game, okay, are going to pay full price. They're going to wait till it comes on Game Pass. The minority is buying it, okay? That's just why they sold 2 million units of Halo, right? You might sell 4 million units of Starfield because it's a brand new IP and whatnot. People are excited for it. But majority of the people are not going to buy that game because, regardless if they want to support the devs, it's a first-party title. You paying for Game Pass is supporting the devs because they're making the money. Because Microsoft is paying for them. Is the Battlefront 2 2022 mod 30? Yeah, this is a mod for Battlefront 2, yeah. I love to play it on PC, but my PC is a potato. Oh, so you have an Xbox Series S for your computer. Got it. Boss says, Quintar, this is my mindset. I still buy games to support the devs for their hard work. If I want to play the game, obviously I go to there often because I want to support their work. Yeah, but the devs make the money. Like, they make their paycheck regardless if the game is successful or not. They might make a bonus and whatnot, but they got paid for the game. When you buy a game after the fact, once it comes out, like, okay, for instance, I worked in the movie industry. Okay, I was a camera operator. Okay, if the movie sells $1 billion or sells 1 million copies, okay, I don't make any of that. I'm just the dev. I'm the worker ant, the worker bee. I make my money while we're making the actual thing. Now, above the line people in this scenario, producers, people like Tom Cruise, like top tier actors, they get points. Directors, producers, executive producers, those type of people, investors, they all get the points. So if you go to the movie and support the movie and then buy the DVD, it's not going to the pockets of the camera operator and the makeup artist and the grip and the gaffer. Those are the devs, okay? It's going to the executives that are driving the Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all the stuff, right? That's not supporting the devs. You buying a game after they've made the paycheck of the devs making the money year after year, making that game, they make their game. Now, obviously, if there's sales and they get bonuses and stuff like that, sure, that's above the line in the film industry. Again, camera department's not making extra money because it makes more people want to go watch the movie. Okay? Obviously, if the movie does well and they go, "Who's the crew on there?" "Oh, you worked in that movie? I'm going to get my next job." Okay? Right? So people that say they're supporting the devs, unless you're paying for an independent developer, which is a small team, 10, 20, 30 people, you are living in like delusion world, thinking that because you pay $70 for that game, Todd, who did the graphic design work for this game, is getting extra money. He's already been paid. He's already been paid. Yes, but nobody bought the games, and the companies would lose money. If they lose enough money, they lose their jobs. Sure. But that's That's an investment. Just like if you wrote a book or you open up a store or anything else, that's what you're doing, right? Me doing this channel, right, is a risk. Am I making enough money to keep doing this channel? Right? That's the risk. Right? Am I making enough money to keep my bakery open? Am I doing enough? But when you're making this is where the budget comes in. If I have a movie budget of $20 million and the movie makes $200 million, that's a good return on investment. But most movies lose money. Most video games lose money, but yet they still continue on. They still have a job. They still continue making money. Hence why Activision's been around for 30 years. And this is what you think all their games were successful? They're making money investments anyway. That's how movies are made. They go to John and Tim and Kim and they're like, hey, I have this idea for a movie. Do you want to invest in it? Sure, I have a lot of money. Yeah, how much is it going to cost? It's going to cost $100 million. All right, well, I can give you $20 million. So we'll have to get 5 other people or whoever. You have to get the money from the rest of the other people. Okay, cool. Right, and this is where investors come in. And then the investor gets the publisher, and the publisher's like, okay, well, we'll put the money up front, and this is what your return on investment will be, and this is what they're make. Tom, Dick, and Jane, who are devs, don't make any extra money. They get their $25, $50 an hour. They make their $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 per year to make that game. It takes 4 years to make it. They made their $400,000, and they move on with their life. The buying of the game, being a good game, okay, is the justification for developers and movie people that make cameras and acting and set designs. If you like the movie, man, that's a badass movie. That just proves to them going, oh, the crew that we had was a really good crew. And I'm going to get work regardless if that movie is successful or not. Okay? I am. I'm going to go to the next film before that movie even comes out. Sometimes 6-9 months before that movie comes out. I work on a movie 2 years. There's a movie I worked on 15 years ago that still hasn't released. Got sat on the shelf. Right? Does that mean I'm never going to work again? No. I continued working because I'm not the person investing money into that. I think the confusion is in the word devs. When they say devs, they mean Todd. When Quintar says the dev, he means Rare. He supports Rare, so Todd keeps working. It's if you support Spielberg because he did a picture for Fox Studios, okay, right? Spielberg made his money up front, and then he gets bonuses on the back end, right? That's how Todd Howard works as well, I would assume, right? The lead directors and stuff, they probably pay a salary, and then based on the way the game gets sold, they make more money on their end. But Susie working as the art director or Steve making the backgrounds or the garbage on the floor is not making more money. You're not supporting those devs. Those are the devs. Those are the devs. Right? The worker bees, the ants, whatever you want to call them, are the developers. Those are the people that make the actual game. Now, I'll agree that if the game sells so many copies, they probably get bonuses. But I'm pretty sure not everyone gets bonuses. Yeah, I mean, the developer companies. Video game companies, large video game companies, they're going to make 14 games a year. And out of those 14 games, 2 might make a profit. Like an extreme profit. If you support a company, they keep their jobs and can keep making products at the quality I like. Well, what's happening? Amazon, everyone's supporting Amazon, and yet they just let go of 10,000 people. What happened? I'm supporting Amazon. How are they firing 10,000 people? Right? There's plenty of businesses that people support, and yet they still get fired. Why is that? Well, because the investors have to make their money, and they got to get rid of the drones, worker bees, and ants. Well, I'll tell you what, boss. You might not buy stuff from Amazon, but a lot of people do. Hence why it's a $1 trillion company. Is it different for devs than movies? As a cameraman, you work gigs. As a dev, rare, and they work at rare, not a gig. No, it's 100% the same, Lurker. If I work for Universal, I can get a job officially with, let's say, Universal Studios. I could be an in-house camera guy, okay? And no matter what films come on set on the studio lot, I can work for that film, right? So, for instance, no matter what film comes on, I work. They're like, you film in our studio? I'm a full-time worker there. I get paid. I get paid a salary. I get paid benefits. I get everything. That's a worker there. Independent, right? I get hired as a 1099. I work for a feature film, commercial, music video. Same exact thing. All the people that work in the game industry are the same type of people that work in the film industry, that work in the show pro industry, that work in game, like all of it. All of it's the same. Okay, so you could get a job, and that's the goal, right? You can get a job and work for a company and have that stability, okay? And I'm assuming that's what developers want to do. They want to work for the Bungie, but be on the staff, right? Or they want to work for Take-Two and be on staff, so they're getting the benefits to get that check every single month, right? Then there's the people that work for 18 months on certain games. Those are the 1099 workers. That they're going to come in, they're going to work for a company, and they get to work on Jedi Survivor, or they get to work on Forza Horizon, or they get to work on Halo, and they move on to the next job, right? They're doing their job, and they move on to the next job. Those people are getting their paycheck regardless if the game succeeds or the game fails. They get to fluff their resume and say, I worked on this game, I worked on this game, I worked on this game, and someone looks at it and says, oh, man, you worked on this game? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, come on board, right? So if the studio have dedicated workers, I see your point. I can also see Quintar's point. If no one buys, then we don't need the bees. If you're interesting balance, I think the Game Pass tips. I think Game Pass is. I'm trying to put it as, and again, I'm going to make a lot of comparisons to the film industry. Okay, because before Netflix came in, if I worked on a television series or if I worked on a movie, the budgets were set. Okay, the budgets were set because big picture compared to small TV picture. Okay, but then Netflix kind of blurred that line. Okay, kind of blurred the line. Okay, so if I wanted to work on a feature film coming out into theaters, my pay set is set at a certain, let's say it's $450 a day. Okay. But when Netflix comes on, because it's not considered motion picture, it's considered home video type of stuff, I would get paid $250 a day. Okay. And the way that they increment that stuff, they change the landscape of the business. So we were doing more for less for Netflix, right? We were doing more for less. Where if in back in the day, you would just work on a feature film. You knew you were working on that feature film for 6 months, and that's what you were getting. You would get this rate for 6 months. Now with Netflix, you're working there, same type of film, but for 6 weeks, and you're working for less money, right? But you have to take the job because you got to fill in your time. Because what have you done for me lately? It's like, all right, well, I'm established from January to March. But now Netflix, I have 12 weeks in between or 5 weeks in between. I'm going to fill it in with that job and then move on to the next job. It's like juggling all the time. It floors me how little people understand about business. The support your local small business formula doesn't apply to larger corporations. Right, Farmer. Okay, thanks. The studio have dedicated workers. I see your. Okay, I got that. It's not the same. I think the solution here is use money for something important and destroy cottonwood and rageweed freaking worthless plants. So solutions to make Netflix be pro bono. Yeah, they want you to make certain things. Oh, that happens all the time in the business, and I'm assuming I have friends in the video game industry. I'm assuming that happens a lot in the video game industry, right? Like it's a small studio, they can't really afford much. You have to take lower pay, and then you get points in the back end. So if it succeeds, then they're sort of like when Google started off, right? They would give their massage therapist points when they go public and stuff like that, right? Obviously, these smaller companies are not going public, but they're making a game, and when the game sells, if they sell enough copies, then they get a percentage of that, right? So that absolutely, if an independent company comes out, it's a small 5-man team, 10-man team, 20-man team, okay, that I can understand. Support the devs. I'm behind that 100%. Okay, that is working because the devs are making the money based on the sales of the games. Okay. Once a game company becomes part of a bigger conglomerate, they're on salaries. They're on certain license agreements and contracts. Okay, that's a completely different beast than working on a small team making Cuphead compared to making Call of Duty. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you say support the devs, there's a big difference, and I understand that you're supporting devs. For small independent games, if you want to support devs, yeah, go out and buy that game. But to say you're supporting the devs for AAA companies, you're not supporting the devs. Those guys are making their money. They have a stable job. They're paying their houses. They're working. They're doing just like everybody else is working. So what do you think of these games we're seeing were done by like one freaking dude? That's passion. Like the guy that's making the what was that? Unrecorded, or what was that one that we just saw that looks so realistic? One guy is taking like a year of his time to do it, or the two guys that made Cuphead, or when Notch made Minecraft. That's passion. That's just passion projects they do, and they happen to. But that's the outlier. That's the outlier. That's not the majority. Yeah, lots of people don't know business. Look, Farmer, there's people that don't understand being on the farm where food comes from. They look at a cow while they're eating a hamburger, and they don't understand where their hamburger came from. They think it's like produced out of thin air or in a test tube, which it is kind of, but right? There's a lot of people that don't know a lot about a lot of different things. No, it wasn't a college project, Travis. Notch Marcus, he worked for a big company, was tired of working for the other companies. He wanted to make his own game, and then started doing Minecraft. Now, maybe it was a college project at one point, but then he turned it into, he was working on it and trying to sell it. Like they did a whole thing, and then he saw that he had something, and then started hiring other people. I mean, that's how business works, right? And now it's one of the biggest gaming things of all time. He has nothing to do with it anymore. He sold it for like $2.4 billion or something like that. Imagine that. Leaving a company, didn't know what was going on, and then you know, and that's the thing, right? And this is why Microsoft bought Minecraft. Before Minecraft, Mojang became Minecraft that it is today, when they bought it in 2012, people were buying it. I paid $4 for my Minecraft to support the dev, right? Notch was making the game, and I wanted to support Notch for making the game. One man making a world, and I was like, that's impressive. I'm going to support you because you're I'm supporting the dev so he can continue making that game to make it better. But then it got sold to Microsoft. And paying the money for Minecraft is not supporting the devs anymore because they're a conglomerate company. They paid $2.4 billion, and they added microtransactions in stores and stuff like that. Buying a microtransaction is not supporting the devs. buying a microtransaction is supporting the coke habit that the director has. And I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying. Coke, meaning Diet Coke, regular Coke, lime Coke. I pay to go to movies, and if available, I pay IMAX. I want the best quality, things I enjoy. And the people that work on the projects, boss, for the most part, for big blockbuster movies, I'm only speaking general for when I worked in the industry, okay? They're doing the work because they want their work to show, like, we want to be part of good projects, right? We want to be good projects and entertain people so they have a good time in the theater. And when you attach your name, like, for instance, if I worked on a project and it was a shitty project, I won't put that on my resume, right? But if I worked on a project, it was good, okay, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I worked on that. Right? That's what you do. Sometimes you work on a project because you got to pay the bills. Sometimes you work on a project because you love it so much that you'll work for less because you believe in the project. That's the problem nowadays. It was on a project period. I still think people work. I would still like to believe that people choose their stuff. Like would I love to work on a Star Wars project when I was younger? 100%. Would I want to work on a Star Wars project now? No, I don't want to be a part of it at all. I support unpacking. I did not buy Horizon Zero Dawn. Got it on Plus. Right, unpacking is like a small little independent developer. I think there was like 5 people that worked on that game, Lurker. You know what I mean? Basically, my whole rant here is basically if you're going to support something and support the devs, it's small independent companies. It's not conglomerate companies that own the company. They're getting their paycheck. They're getting their paycheck. The fact that people who worked on Velma can still get work is criminal. I would be surprised. Obviously, it's a I can't speak of it because it's animated, so it's not like an actual like camera guy and stuff was on there. But if it was a live action show, Travis, I guarantee you, because I've worked on projects where you do a different name. Like under IMDb, my name has the list, but there's projects that I worked on that I didn't want anything to do, right? So I would either ask to not be credited, okay, or I would put a different name on, which when you look it up, it won't come underneath my other name. Like a stage name type of thing. Do you want to work for Mando season 4? I'll be honest, DJ. I don't want to be anything. There's rumors right now, and I don't know if it's true or not. Obviously, that's why it's a rumor. But there's a rumor that Jon Favreau is done working at Star Wars, and if for Lucasfilm, and if that's true, that's sad, and it actually shows, right? It shows that if it's coming out now, even though he was at Star Wars Celebration and whatnot, it shows of the quality of what season 3 was compared to the other seasons. What's my stage name? I don't want to tell you. Velma was the first show. It was so bad it became a gnome barfing at a rainbow meme. Please say it's Seymour Butts. No, it's not like I worked on like a porn or something. It's just like we don't like to work on most people don't want to work on projects that, as we used to call them, straight to DVDs, right? Straight to DVDs, right? You don't want to, because people will look at, people will look up your stuff, and this is why, at least in the industry, you only put the stuff that you're proud of on your resume, right? When you're early on in the industry, you have to put everything, okay? But once you start getting a couple projects, you get rid of like 10, 15 items off your list, and then you only put the good stuff. Because it's, what have you done for me lately, right? That's how the industry works. What did you work on last? Oh, I worked on, such and such. Oh, yeah, you're good. Come on board. Because you have connections with other people. So you worked on the last Street Fighter movie. No, I wouldn't work on that. Or Mortal Kombat. I wouldn't work on that either. I worked on a lot of shitty movies, Travis. Lots of shitty movies. There's so many horror flicks that came out that were just garbage. But you know what? They paid my bills. Half those movies never even saw the light of day. I was a grip on I don't even know what the movie's named, because what it was when it came out and what it is now. Hold on one second. Let me see if I could if I can look it up and see. Yeah, it's called The Blunt Movie. All right. This was Pat Morita's last feature film. Last feature film. I was a grip. I worked on this in 2002, 2003 when I was going to school. Okay. I was a grip inside this. There was a whole bunch of celebrities in this. Angie Everhart, Pat Morita, James Wong, Mary Carey, Dennis Rodman, Michael Winslow, Jackie Martling. There was a whole bunch of people. Yeah. I worked on it in 2002. It didn't come out until a decade later. Okay. 2013 is when it released. Okay. There's movies that still haven't seen the light of day that I worked on. But you know what? I got paid. Yeah, we did a whole thing with Mr. Miyagi. Yeah. Yeah, I worked on a bunch of stuff, and there's still stuff that people submit on here that there's an upcoming thing. Yeah, so okay, here you go. I haven't been in the industry in like 6 years, 7 years, right? Apparently, I did a project. I don't know what I'm going to click on this because I don't know. It's in post-production right now. I was an assistant first AC camera. It's called I Got Out. I have no idea what this is, because it was probably named something else. Oh, yeah. Well, here you go. This is one of the horror flicks I worked on. I know because of the cast. So I worked on this in 2012. Okay? 2012. We're in 2023. Okay? And the movie still hasn't come out yet. I've worked on a bunch of B movies, like horror flicks and stuff like that. I feel like I couldn't talk to him. I don't know how to explain it, boss. I've never been a person that gets starstruck in any way, shape, or form. I've been around one of the most famous people on planet Earth with Terry Hogan, Hulk Hogan, and just never it's never done anything for me. I don't get starstruck. They're just normal for me. Do you have like NDAs in movies? Yes, you do. You sign certain things for certain films. Like if it's a big project, Robert. Like if I was working for like Star Wars or Star Trek or anything like that for the big studios, you have to sign a bunch of paperwork. You can't talk about anything like that. I day played for literally one day for Pirates of the Caribbean. I forget which one it was, because they used to film down in Miami, and then they also filmed in the Bahamas and stuff like that. I day played once, not credited in any way, shape, or form. I was a production assistant, and you had to sign paperwork and stuff like that, so you don't, so you don't get, you can't go out and just talk about it. I don't even know which one it was. It was back in like 2000, 2004, 2004, I think it was. Which one came out in 2004 or after that? I'll have to look it up. Was it Pirates? Oh, it was the first Black Pearl. It was 2003. It was for Black Pearl. And the only reason I got that job is because a job that I worked with another person on a small independent film, got a job on Miami Vice, and then from Miami Vice got me as a day play because someone got sick, and they brought me in for like a one-day shoot. Dirty 30, do you miss it or not really? No, I miss it a lot. I missed it a lot. It was one of the best things I've ever done in my entire life. Every time I went to work, it was different. Every time. There's different scenarios that you have to like. It's like being an engineer, right? Like as a camera department, there's always different shots and different things that you do. So you're rigging things differently. It's cool. I got to do things I never would have done in my life. I got to travel places. I got to be in helicopters and airplanes and play with cool toys and a bunch of stuff. Now people use drones. We used to use a thing called the Russian Arm, which is a Porsche SUV with a camera rig on top of it. So all the car commercials where you're seeing the cars come about, but now people just use drones and stuff for it. I swear I was watching a movie yesterday, Shoot 'em Up yesterday, and I was like, not Paul Giamatti, that's 30. What movie? What movie, Travis? I used to be a I used to be a extra. I used to be an extra in films just to make some extra cash. When I was like a teenager, young 20s. It's called Shoot 'em Up. I don't know that one. I'm trying to see which yeah, they don't have my stuff I was on here. What's it called? They don't have my listings of my acting stuff on here. I was in Every Given Sunday. I was in Something About Mary. I was in what the hell is that Kevin Bacon one? With Wild Things. Wild Things. Bunch of other movies. Gotta be the guy who played Igor in Young Frankenstein. Super nice dude. I don't remember the guy's name. I recognize you now. You're that dude that had the bumps on his face when you heard about Mary again. No, I was actually in a scene. You don't see me. I think you see my elbow. I was a rollerblader, a car driver, and then also in a cafe scene where what's his name's listening to Mary when he's in the cafe. There was 4 of us sitting at a table, and we never got into the shot. The different angles they used, we never got into the shot. Any Given Sunday, I was in the stadium for the football scenes. They used my car in films. Inside the movie Never Back Down, my truck is in the film. It's a black pickup truck. Outside of I don't know if they have let's see. That is Never Back Down. I don't know if they have pictures of the truck outside the. In the movie, there's a where Diamond Hassoun has the training facility. Outside the garage door, there's a black pickup truck. That's my truck, or was my truck. I don't have it anymore. Yeah, the second one was straight to video, and I don't think it made good money. Let's see, Never Back Down, Box Office Mojo. I don't even know what it made. See, I don't care. Once I'm done with the movie, I don't care. I just move on. Never Back Down made, okay, so the budget was 20 million, which is actually false. It was actually 50 million. So it actually lost 10 million. He went over budget. The director went over budget. And it only made worldwide 41 million. So I don't know what it sold in DVDs and whatnot. Wait, wasn't Never Back Down the one with those crappy dance movies? No, Never Back Down was basically the Karate Kid, basically remake type of movie. It was an MMA movie. Yeah, it's actually pretty entertaining. Great experience working on that film. Let me see if this is Let me say this is not the film. This is a Let's see if you can see my truck in this. Oh, you know what I could do? That actually might be an interesting thing to do. Maybe we'll do a watch party. I don't know how that would work. I could do a watch party and tell you a whole bunch of stories and things as we go through the movie. The movie was called Get Some when we were filming it, and then it changed to Never Back Down. It's right when social media and like cell phones came out. It was filmed in 2007 when the first iPhone came out. Yeah, lots of Marvel characters in the or I should say superhero characters in that film. The main actor, actually, the bad guy, Cam Gidget, I think his last name is. He actually auditioned for the G.I. Joe movie, but he lost it to, I think he lost it to Channing Tatum. Is that who he lost it to? I think that's who he lost it to. What's a great title for it? I'm trying to see what let's see. Sean Ferris went on to, let's see, Cam. What did he do? Sean went on. Oh, he's in Transformers: Rise of the Beast. No, that can't be. No, never mind. Never mind. Let's see. Maybe he is. No. Never mind. That was just an ad. He did a lot of TV movies and whatnot. Nothing really big. Cam went on. He was in Twilight, Priest. Let's see what he's got going on here. 72 Hours, Final Invasion. Without Remorse, Black Site Delta. No. He was in a couple of movies. He's worked a lot, still working to this day. Good for him. Then yeah, of course you have Evan Peters, who Quicksilver. Oh, is he an American Horror Story? Oh, is he Jeffrey Dahmer in the Dahmer Monster TV miniseries? I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to check that out. He's done good for himself as well. Sorry, going down like memory lane over here, looking at certain things. Exoprimal, as that's very clear 80s action movie. Oh, the video game you're talking about, Travis? Oh, that poor man. I wouldn't say poor man. I'm sure all these people got paid very well. Yeah, I'm not sure what Dahmer was on. Let me see if it says. Yeah, it's on Netflix. It was on Netflix. That little kid's a good actor, or he was a little kid, and he's a good actor, though. I like him. Peter Evans. All right, what time is it? 12:15. All right, we were gonna watch a video of Diablo for the Your Class Your Way, but I don't really think we need to watch that. I think you guys mostly watched it. I kind of wanted to watch the Redfall final preview, but I think we could wait until tomorrow to watch that as well. I think we'll wait till tomorrow to watch that. I think tomorrow we'll watch Diablo, the trailer, or the classes Your Way, and then we'll watch also Redfall as well from IGN. We'll talk about that. I don't think it's a big must. I mean, Redfall comes out next week, so we'll be playing that on stream. Are you asking what he played in Twilight? Is that what? Yeah, he was a bad guy. He always plays like a bad guy. In the yeah, he played James. Yeah, he played James. Super nice guy. Well, they were all really nice, including Amber Heard. We'll see, though. Why am I not interested in any games that are coming out? Games come out, and you might not be interested in any of them. I mean, not every game is meant for everybody. There was a time. I'll be honest with you, Farmer. Don't feel bad. If I wasn't a streamer, I probably wouldn't play half these games that are coming out right now. The only reason I pick certain games, one, is most of these games that I play are on Game Pass, so it gives me content to do. Two, the games I do play, I mean, are not relevant in some cases. I mean, even MLB The Show that came out as a baseball game is very niche community in the sports games, and I'm playing it because I enjoy it. But for the most part, a lot of people, a lot of games, just I look at stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to play that. I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to even try it. Yeah, we're going to do a late night stream, Jesse. We're going to do a late night stream on Friday, probably around 10:30. We're going to play Jedi Survivor. So anybody that's interested, that you're not buying the game and you're not interested, to ruining like the story for yourself, we will be playing through the main campaign. So we'll be playing through Jedi Survivor. And then once we start playing Jedi Survivor, we'll pretty much be playing Jedi Survivor until I'm done with the game. So like we did for Hogwarts Legacy, I'll just be like, we'll start on Friday night, and then we'll probably continue on Monday morning, Monday evening, Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening, until we complete the game. Twilight was a very successful series. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why I don't understand the people that are like, oh, sorry you worked on that movie. But like, it was a paycheck type of thing. Not every video, every movie is for everybody. If you don't like to support something, don't watch it, don't play it, type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't watch episodes of Mando from 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I watched people that watched it and gave us their overview for it, and then I watched episode 8, and I kind of wish I didn't. But someone out there might love it and liked every single episode. But certain shows are not, like, for instance, National Treasure. The show came out, canceled before even the season before they could even show Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage was supposed to make a cameo inside the show, and it got canceled before that. No one's watching it, so you got to move on. Yeah, I thought they were decent films. I don't think they're like earth-shattering, like phenomenal movies, but those are chick films. You know what I mean? It's a love story. That's what the books were, so that's what the movies were. It's that traditional triangle story. Hence why Vampire Diaries was so. Is that what it was called on CW? Vampire Diaries. Yeah. Yeah, I know, boss. You walked out. You had the traditional cape, the vampire cape on. You probably put contact lenses in your eyes with the fangs. I know, that's what you are. Big die-hard vampire fan. I can tell. Wasn't bad. Wouldn't have gone to see it myself. Oh yeah, like I'm not going. Hey, you want to watch? You want to go watch Vampire? I don't even know the Twilight. You want to go watch Twilight? I think we saw a third one in theaters. I think we watched the first one and second one in home movies, and then the third one was coming out. I was traveling a lot when those movies came out. Yeah, in 2008, when Twilight came out, I worked on like 12 feature films that year between 2007 and 2009. I didn't see that movie when it came out. I didn't see number 2 either. That came out in what, 2000? Yeah, 10, and then 2012 or 2011. Yeah. I watched the first episode of National Treasure. Terrible. That's what I heard. Well, that's why it got canceled before it finished, right? Oh, Supernatural was that's completely different though, Mo. That's a CW show. Oh, you're talking about Vampire Diaries. Yeah, Supernatural. They was out for like 12 years or something like that. It was ridiculous. I am gonna go see Guardians, and I said that like over a year ago, Farmer. I said the next movie I see after I watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I said the next movie I said I'm done with Marvel. I haven't seen one in the theaters since then. I said the next time I see a movie in theaters for Marvel will be Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And for the only reason is that I liked 1, I liked 2. So I'm looking at 3 as a standalone trilogy, and I'm not looking at it like linking to any other Marvel. And then once I'm done with that, I'm not going back to the theater to watch any Marvel films. Yeah, that it doesn't look phenomenal, boss, but I'm gonna go watch it. I'm gonna go watch it. It comes out right before my birthday. It comes out the 5th, right? My birthday's the 12th. We got family coming up, so I think we're gonna all go watch it. But they have X-Men cameo. Okay. I'm not sold on anything Marvel's doing. The scene where Star-Lord used the F word, I don't care about that. That stuff doesn't. Oh, I gotta go see it now. He's gonna curse. I don't care. Oh, yours is Saturday? Is that still in Saturday the first no. Oh, you're still in April. I didn't know we were still in April. Yeah, my birthday's in like 2 weeks from Friday. 39. One more year and you're gonna lose something. Well, it'll be like your equilibrium, your hearing. You might lose consciousness for something. So let me know what happens in 40 next year. 40, I woke up when I hit 40. When I woke up and hit 40, I got up out of bed and I collapsed. My leg just gave out. Hopefully it's your belly. Sounds dreadful. Yeah, I don't know what happened, boss. I literally woke up and just stood out of bed like I usually do, and my leg just gave out. I was like, what the hell? That was on my birthday. That was on my 40th birthday. I'm turning 45 this year. So every birthday when I wake up, I'm like, what's gonna happen? I've been, you know what I mean? It's like I've been a little wobbly. You know, every time my birthday comes, I get up and I sit on the edge of the bed. I'm like, all right, am I gonna collapse this time? And I think now I have high cholesterol now, so that's the truth, Robert. Someone said getting older is just a series of unfortunate minor injuries. Yeah, that's about right. Yesterday, I went to Costco and we bought these foldable chairs. Okay, and I shit you not, I went to go pick it up. It weighs like, I don't know, 20 pounds. I went to pick it up to put it into the cart, and I pulled something in my arm right here. Right, I was like, what the hell? And for the rest of the day, I was just like, my arm was like shooting this pain through, and I was like, from picking up a chair? I was like, come on, bro. And it's like the stupidest little things. It's like someone calls you, you're like, what? And you're like, oh, and you're like, your neck is like all of a sudden kink. You're like, I can't move my neck. I'm paralyzed from the neck down. Shake it off. Oh, that's cool, Mo. So your birthday's Saturday and your daughter's is on Sunday? My dad's is the day after my birthday. So in the weekend, we have May 12th is my birthday, May 13th is my dad's birthday, and then May 14th is Mother's Day. We got a lot of in 3 days, we have like 5 or 6 birthdays, right? So May is a very, very busy month, right? So I got my nephew, he was born on the 25th. I got my other I call him my nephew, but he's not really my nephew. He's my best friend's son. They're like family to me. He was born on the 18th. My mom or my grandmother-in-law, she was born on the 13th. My dad was born on the 13th. I was born on the 12th, and my cousin was born on the 12th. We have like 8 people within like a week and a half span. Oh, wait, your son's birthday's on the 12th. Nice. For some reason, I thought you were talking to April. Your son's probably very stubborn. My condolences for having a Taurus son. I have a best friend that he's got 3 siblings, right? Right? 3 siblings. So he's got 2 sisters and a brother, right? So there's 4 in the family, and they share 2 birthdays. So one's a set of twins, and then his older brother is 2 years older than him, and they're born on the exact same day. Like, their parents, they know their timing, huh? Oh, is the 29th a Taurus as well? Oh, that's right. It switches like on the 22nd or something like that, right? That's why we get along, Mo. That's why we get along. Well, no, you guys don't get along, Travis, because one's a PlayStation fan and one's an Xbox fan. That's the only reason. If you can get your differences from that, you're okay. That's funny. Yeah, so we'll watch the Diablo and the Redfall thing tomorrow. Is what we'll do. I mean, that doesn't help. No, I'm telling you. You guys will get a lot. Mo has he every once in a while he shares the stuff he cooks when he does the barbecue stuff. I'll tell you what. I don't care what console you like. If we ever got together and Mo did some cooking, man, we would all get along. Good food, good conversation. That's all you need. I do appreciate, even though, sometimes the conversations get a little heated because of console wars or whatnot. I do like the community that we have here, that you guys talk back and forth. Good conversation. Majority of us are, I would say all of us are adults, but some are younger than others. But it's always respectful and whatnot. And hopefully it stays that way, because at the end of the day, we're all fans of gaming and entertainment and whatnot. So I appreciate you guys keeping it. Real quick on Discord, I'm trying to start a new rule page. It's the same rules. It just implemented a thing where you have to click. It's not working. I'm trying to get it to work. Once that gets going, basically anyone that's in our Discord server will just have to click to see the rest of the Discord server again. I'm trying to get it going, but I think it's too late. I'm not even too sure. I'll let you guys know when it's up to date. Because what might happen is, because when I implement the new rule system, even though it's the same rules, you might not be able to see the server until you read the rules and then say okay. So just letting you know. All right. I appreciate it very much. I am done for the morning. We'll be back this evening. don't know what we're gonna play tonight. We might play. I might want to go back into some Battlefield. Right, we might play some Battlefield. Tomorrow we're gonna try to play Battlefront again with Sarge if he's able to play, and then Thursday night we're gonna do some Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast. So I appreciate it very much for you guys coming out and hanging out with us. Make sure you hit that like button before you leave. It does help me out on this small channel. I thank you for the support, and I'll see you guys tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Peace.